Welcome to MyCounselor.Online. I'm Josh Spurlock, and in this video, we're talking about busyness as a sex killer. Are you too busy for sex? Sounds maybe crazy, but the reality is life is busy. You're running, you've got work, you've got kids, you've got all the things going on around the house, and a lot of people find that sex just makes it to the bottom of the list, and there's no energy and there's no time left by the end of the day. And so you find yourself collapsing into the bed night after night without any real meaningful connection with your spouse, or maybe even worse, how our sex life turns into just quickie sex. And the only kind of sexual connection we have are these kind of quick, get it over with because it's been a while kinds of instances, which are not fulfilling, are not mutually enjoyable, and really over time cause us to stop desiring to connect sexually at all. And so they're actually detrimental to our sexual relationship. It's not to say that all quickies are a bad thing and that we should never connect in that sort of fashion. It just means if that's the only kind of connecting that we have, that it will ruin our sex life. It kind of reminds me of that movie Super Size Me, right? Remember that, where the guy went through the McDonald's drive-thru and ate fast food every single day, and it didn't take very long before his doctor said, "Stop, or it's going to kill you." Quickie sex is like that, going through the drive-thru, that it doesn't, it's not fulfilling, it's not wholesome, it's not a full meal. It's okay every now and then when you're just in a hurry, but it needs to be part of a well-rounded sexual diet where we enjoy mutually fulfilling times of connection that are meaningful and really help strengthen our marriage and relationship. So what's the solution, right? There's only 24 hours in a day. There's more things to do than there is time to do it in. And so the answer is we really have to prioritize. We have to think about good versus best, because it's the good that keeps us from the best. That it's for most people, it's not all the social media, TV, or other kinds of time wasters that are the culprit. If that is the case, yeah, cut some of that out and invest in your relationship. But for most people, it is the good things. It's the work projects, it's the kids' activities, it's the church volunteering, it's all sorts of really good things that are valuable and should be part of our life. But good things can get out of balance also, in a way that keep us from having Sabbath rest in our life and keep us from having the quality time for meaningful connection that we need with our spouse. And so those are likely the areas that you're going to need to look at and say, how do I give what's due to each of those things that God would have me give time to, but not more than it's due? Because if I give more to it than it's due, I'm actually robbing from something else that God would have me give attention and time and energy and resources to. And robbing from your marriage in order to give to kids' activities, church activities, other kinds of things that are good, but at the expense of a healthy, quality, connected relationship with your spouse is not what God desires for you. And so we need to evaluate those things and place limits on them so that we can engage them in a healthy way without neglecting the other parts of our relationship and life that are really important. And you need to do it for the kids, right? Because the kids need more than anything else for mom and dad to have a close and connected and passionate relationship. That's where they learn how to have that kind of relationship. They're not going to get that at school. They're not going to get that anywhere else except from watching mom and dad model that for them. So they need you to cultivate that so they can see what it looks like and carry that on into their own marriages someday in a healthy way. And there's just no substitute for quality time within your relationship. You know, I liken it sometimes to water in a tomato plant. You know, that all conditions for growing a tomato plant can be perfect. Great sun exposure, you can build a fence around it to keep the animals out, you can fertilize, I mean, everything can be perfect and great, but if you don't water it, it's not going to grow. The leaves will wither, the flowers will fall off, it will bear no fruit. And before long, it'll just be scorched earth. And there's no such thing as like super wet water where, because of the quality of the water, I don't know if this rings any bells, but for some folks, this idea of we don't need very much time together in our relationship because of the quality of the time that we have when we do spend time together. There's no such thing as super wet water, and that no matter how much water you put in or the quality of the water, it needs regular doses. A day later, it's going to need more water in order to be healthy. That you can't dump 100 gallons on it like in a vacation scenario once a year and expect that tomato plant to prosper. Now, the tomato plant, like your marriage, needs regular watering in order to be healthy and to grow and to bear fruit. Your relationships like that. So I recommend to couples this minimum quality time kind of schedule that includes 15 to 20 minutes a day of dialogue, connection. This could look like pillow talk at the end of the day, could look like coffee in the morning together, but it's undivided attention of your spouse for 15 to 20 minutes a day. We just have each other's attention and can engage each other and connect verbally from interacting. And then you need 2 to 4 hours or more a week in like a date night where you take an afternoon or a morning or a midday. You take a few hours to get away from the chaos and just be lovers and friends for a while. Step out of your roles as professionals, step out of your roles as parents, and just be friends, be lovers, and enjoy life. Have some experiences together. You need this on a weekly basis for sure. And then I recommend an overnight where we spend a full day or two together once a quarter. Whether that's a staycation where we get a hotel in town and a babysitter to stay at the house, or whether or not we travel to a beach somewhere. Whatever it is, whatever your budget allows, 1-2 days or more a quarter where we just relax, we rest, we have fun, we hang out, we have some experiences in life together. And then we need to be prioritizing connecting sexually at least 1 or 2 times a week. That's a pretty good schedule for most couples, though it's not a hard and fast rule that every couple can be different. But I find that it's pretty good pace of 1 to 2 or more times a week for a couple to be planning to connect sexually. And I say planning because all of these things are far less likely to happen if you don't actually put them on the calendar than if you do put them on the calendar, which I know some couples say, hey, that's going to completely ruin sex if we take the spontaneity out of it. But what in fact happens is it improves sex. It improves the quality of our sex because we're not doing the quickie sex stuff, and it improves the frequency of the sex because we have it more regularly. Doesn't mean that you can't have sex at times other than the scheduled times. It just means at least have a time of connection built into your life on that pattern. And then that gives you time to create variety and creativity within those experiences because you can plan in advance. They're upcoming. You can think about them. You can flirt about them. And you can plan experiences that are unique, that are fun, and that keep our sex life vibrant, passionate, and alive. So those are my suggestions to you. There's some more details in the article at MyCounselor.Online. You can also find some other videos and articles at MyCounselor.Online. If you need help implementing any of this, there are professionals at MyCounselor.Online that can connect with you either online or in person at one of our offices and help you be able to have the passionate, healthy marriage and sexual relationship that you'd like to have. Until next time that we connect, I want you to be blessed and keep loving life.